Welcome to part 3, the for each node. Now you get to see a little magic as you add some attributes you pull from the original soccer ball and feed into a for each loop so that the original patches get extruded instead of all the individual polygons. This will provide a better, more leathery look for the soccer ball once you subdivide it. So let's go into here, and under the platonic, we're going to go in and create an attribute and attribute create. I can't see it up there, but attribute create, and we're going to place that right here. Now we're going to name this one patches, and let's set the class to primitive. And in the first value here, we're going to go at prim num. So that's a known bit of information. So if we go down to here, what you'll see is that every one of these primitives right here has a number. And that number is going to come into play. Now we can also click on this geometry spreadsheet, and if we go to primitives here, you'll see that we've now got the patches attribute, and it basically goes from 0 to 31. So it's assigning a value right there to all of that. So that's perfect. Now if we click on the ray node here, what you'll notice is after we subdivided, we got a whole bunch more polygons. But those polygons have patches assigned to them based on their original patch. So there's basically a whole bunch of them assigned to 0, a whole bunch of them assigned to 1, a whole bunch of them assigned to 2, etc. And we're going to take that fact and use that to extrude the soccer ball the way we want. So let's go back to the scene view now in this case here, if we set the display flag here, you'll see there are a whole bunch of different polygons, and they all have different numbers. But we're going to take the ones back here from here, and those are the ones that we're going to work with. So if we go to the ray node here and we look at this, another option for display purposes is we can actually click on this display node, this here, right click on here, and we're going to click on the plus sign here. We're going to choose marker. Create this to be patch okay, and then we're going to set the type to marker, the class down, there we go, the class is going to be primitive, and the attribute is going to be patches. Okay, so now if we turn off this one and we only have this one down here, you'll see that just like we saw in the geometry spreadsheet, is everything to do with that patch is 16, everything to do with that patch is 14, everything to do with that patch is to 30. So we've actually been able to take the attribute from the original primitive shape and transfer them to this subdivided shape. And that's the essence of what we're going to do here. Now, we don't need to see that going forward, but it is worth taking into account. So we're going to go into here, we're going to tab for each. We're going to go for each named primitive. And we're going to drop this down. This adds 2 nodes. We're going to feed this into here. And then we're going to drop the poly extrude into there, so it's halfway in between. We can set the display flag on the end here. Now right now it's not doing anything. We need to change the attribute name to patches. And now, so we take each one of the patches attributes and it gets extruded individually. So you see how they're now being nicely extruded like this. And if we were, again, to go back to this, you'd see why, because they're all together, and so on and so forth. So job well done. Now, they have a checkbox on here that you can actually say give me a single pass, and you can just go through. You can just go through and see all of the patches individually. Of course, we don't need that. We want to see the end result. Now, once we finish this, there's a point where the pieces meet. So we're going to go put a fuse node down to make sure these are connected back up properly. There we go. And we're going to add another subdivide node, and we're going to place that here and set the display flag on there. And you see now it's looking a lot more like a leathery soccer ball because it's being subdivided based on these extra patches. Now let's go up to here, and we're going to rename this to Soccer Ball Geo. And actually down here, let's do something with this go back to the poly extrude. So we're going to make the distance of 0.1, so we're going to go out a little bit more. And we're going to do an inset of negative 0.02. And that just has, this will be make a lot more sense when it's fully rendered, when it's subdivided even more. And the way we can do that is just like we talked about before, Shift plus. And now if we go to smooth shaded, you'll see, there we go. So the subdivide nodes we've been using in here have been adding geometry, but the subdivision display we're doing in here is actually taking it a step further and giving us a little clearer sense of what's going to happen at render time when the subdivisions will render at the micro polygon level. So congratulations, you've now got a soccer ball and one that you can take forward and render and animate and do other things with. So great job.